Pasquino. It is applied to men. It is applied to God. Okay? It doesn't necessarily make a person God. The word that is applied for worshipping God is Sibomai. It is never applied to Jesus. No, am I wrong or right? Am I wrong or right? So basically, so basically, going back to your original point, you said the Son of Man is worshipped. Sibomai, he's worshipped in that sense, but Jesus was never worshipped in that sense.
There are several Greek words which
how can he fill the prophecy?
Very simple. There are several Greek words which we translate as worship. Sibomai is one of them. Okay, and that's not used very much. It's never used by John.
So what?
Proskuneo is a far more, it's much more a favourite word of John. He uses it many times.
The king worshipped
Exactly. The king worshipped Daniel.
Yeah.
He worshipped Daniel. The Bible says the king worshipped Daniel. Does that mean that Daniel was God as well?
And which word was he using? Not the one in Daniel 7.
I'm sure it's Pascuna.
It was what?
I'm sure it's Pascuna. It wasn't Sibomai.
No,
it was not Sibomai.
In Daniel, that's talking Aramaic. You're talking Greek now.
You know Septuagint?
Yeah.
What's the Septuagint word of that word?
I don't know. Do you know?
Probably Pascuna. It can't be Sibomai.
So you don't know?
I don't know. I don't know. But if it's Sibomai, that means that Daniel is more of a god than Jesus, because it was used for Daniel but never for Jesus.
No, not necessarily. Just a minute. If Sibomai is used for Daniel,
I'm saying to you,
come on,
this is my argument.
Makes sense. If Sibomai is used for Daniel in the Septuagint, then it doesn't just refer to God. That's what your argument falls flat.
Okay, but then you got problems now, because if this word Sibomai is used for God specifically, you have to ask yourself, why does anyone apply it to Daniel? How could it be applied to Daniel?
You don't know. You're building an argument.
What do you mean?
Something which you don't know. You don't know which Greek word is used.
Because I have a dictionary of the words at home. Sibomai Pascuna.
Well, fine. Go look it up.
I've looked it up already. Thank you very much.
What does it use in the Septuagint? Daniel.
It's Sibomai. It's used wholly for God. Whether it's used a few times or not is irrelevant.
But this is not.
Whether it's used a few times or not is irrelevant.
This is not relevant to our argument.
Pascuna, the word Pascuna, okay, is used, and what does it mean? It means licking the hand like a dog. Like a dog. In other words, showing humility to, reverence to, respect to. So Jesus was some respect to. I agree with that. Okay? And by the way, what did Jesus say? Worship the Father. Him only you shall serve. And what did he also say in the mountaintop? It is written, you should worship your Father alone.
Alright.
And what was he
said? Let's go back to Proskuneo, okay? Yeah. The Apostle John never used the word Sibomai, so you can't say he should have used that because he didn't use that word.
Who's John?
The Apostle John was the one who wrote Revelation.
John who?
And also
John who?
The Apostle John.
John who?
He probably didn't have a surname. John, son of whatever he was son of.
No, he isn't basically.
I don't need to know his surname.
Do you know or not?
He was the Apostle.
Do you know his last name?
Yes, I do. John, son of Zebedee.
John, son of Zebedee?
Yes.
Okay. John, son of Zebedee. Do you know what the scholars say about John? They said John has been changed several times. Several times. And by the way, why is it that when you Christians went to the Jesus God, you abandon Matthew, Mark, and Luke, you go to the last gospel, John? Why weren't these arguments there in Matthew, Mark, and Luke?
I can show you from the other ones.
Very strange.
Loudly, say Allahu Akbar.
Very well, very good.
Allahu Akbar.
That's very good. Where are you from? Ayman, where are you from? Excuse me, Mr. Speaker. Where are you from?
He said from London.
You're from London?
He's from London.
How old are you?
How old are you, Ayman?
How old are you?
How old?
How old?
How many years are you?
Speak English? You don't speak English. I'm speaking English. Yeah. What do you mean, no? Yes, I am.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. What language am I speaking then? No. What language is that? Chinese? I'm going. Fair enough. I'm gonna have to continue whatever you have. At this one point, no. This one point, I don't know. I believe that my faith is based on hard evidence. I believe that it's based on my own logic, my own understanding. It's not a blind faith, because I don't think that's a faith at all. I think it's your mind. It's your mind. It's your mind. It's your mind. No, but if you're saying it is based on logic and understanding, and you, I don't understand everything. Yeah, but I mean the fundamental, the core of it, the concept of the Trinity. I mean, it's something which Christian theologians, having tried to explain it, gave up and say it's a divine mystery. So this is the very core of the religion. You know, so to talk about logic and rationalism after your very fundamental concept, you know, is irrational. It's irrational in the sense that, you know, when you add three things together, you don't get one, you get three. So this is the fundamental irrationality that you accept by faith. You accept by faith. And if you accept it by faith, that's another thing. That's nothing that can be argued. But you know, when we were talking before about, you know, Jesus dying, the concept of God dying, I mean, is in itself something irrational. Because when we use the term God, as God has always been understood by Jesus and by the prophets who came before him, was one who has no beginning or end. So to speak of God dying, meaning coming to an end, is something irrational. It goes against the very concept of God. But I have to go back to the same point. When you die, and when I die, is that the end? Okay, then why are you playing the same logic to God? No, what you're saying, when we die, you're saying if God dies in the body, that he is ended. Well, dying doesn't mean you cease to exist. Dying means your body dies. I mean, I believe that was so. No, but the body of Jesus, was the body of Jesus God? No, I believe he was God. No, but was his body God, or it is just the spirit that was God? Was Jesus his body God also, or is it only his spirit that was God? He came down to us in the form of a man. Still he came. So the form, was that form which was in a body, was that God? The body. Well, I believe he was God. Is God. So the body was God. Not the body. This is the problem. That's the problem. See? This is where you're jammed, because of the fact that in the text it says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And then it goes on to say, the Word became flesh. This is according to John. The Word became flesh. So it meant that the body was God. Yes, that's what that meant. But because of the problem which exists intellectually right now for you, you want to make that separation. And this has led in the church history to major upheavals, major breaks between Eastern